It's a wonderful day, a powerful day. It's a day when our confidence in the university is reinforced.
When you walk onto Clemson's campus, you just feel like the Clemson spirit. And you know, people bleed orange. Everybody bleeds orange here.
Hello, I'm Jim Barker. My name is Jim Barker, and I serve as president of Clemson University. So
403. There we go.
It's a reinforcement and an encouragement for us and an inspiration for us when that cycle of nature begins again.
Clemson as a community, I think, promotes just a passion for what you love and what you want to be or what you want to pursue in life.
It's amazing how no matter where you go in the world, it seems that someone who's connected to Clemson will find you and they'll immediately come up to you and talk to you about it, and it's like their family.
It's like a family. It's like the Clemson family.
There's something about this place where it's a sense of community, it's a sense of place here. There's something in the air.
Fire long over the middle, wide open. Brandon clears, got it at the 20, at the 10, at the 5, and there's Orange in the end zone. Touchdown!
There was no question I was going to bounce it on the field and in the classroom because there was no other choice for me.
What does education mean to your family?
Everything.
Education comes first.
Our first scholarship was actually from Stanford.
We were recruited by 25 D1 universities. I came in here excited to play football, but at the end of the day, I was more excited when I would get an A in a particular class.
You mentioned earlier about Machiavelli. Did he do a large majority of his work within Florence? People he points.
We were going to get a great education no matter where we went, but exactly, as soon as I stepped on this campus, I just felt comfortable. And when we left, we were Clemson Tigers.
Clemson people are like no other people you ever meet before. They take you in as their own, regardless of who you are. Well, if you're a Carolina fan, that's a little bit different, but.
Every Clemson student has a powerful experience. As different as they are, they have this one constant in their life forever. There's this thread that Clemson provides, this Clemson experience that unites all of us together. I came to visit the campus just months after my father died. Since nobody in my family had ever gone to college before, I didn't know what it was, how you applied, how you got financial aid, how you solved this mystery of college. When I came to Clemson and walked across Bowman Field in the heart of our campus, there was a distinct sense that I felt that said, you don't need to worry about this. You're going to be okay. What drives me, I think, is that I owe Clemson so much. Whatever I have been able to do, it was Clemson that taught me how to do that. Our first year of married life was spent on this campus, so my ties to Clemson run so deep and so substantive that it was a very compelling thing when I had the opportunity to come back home.
I've had some of the best times of my life at Clemson University. It's been a healthy balance of great academics as well as a great social life. I started out in Chinese and I didn't know that I was going to like it as much as I really did. I love the language. It's so interesting. It's also such a challenge. I received an application for a student ambassador program in China for the World Expo. And I actually got the position. They sent us out a list of all the students and what colleges they were from, and I was incredibly intimidated. We had Harvard, Yale, Duke, Dartmouth. And working with the crowds, I would say, 欢迎来到美国馆, which means, hello, welcome to the USA Pavilion. I had the opportunity to meet the president of China, Hu Jintao, and that was just an insane experience. I was telling my teacher and my Chinese friends back here, like, they've never met the president of China, and here it is my first time to China ever, and I shake their president's hand, you know. We had 500 people come in every 10 minutes, and I would say, I'm a student from Clemson University. So about, I don't know, probably 200,000 Chinese people hopefully will remember Heather Johnson was a student from Clemson University. My dad is actually an alumni of Clemson. He got his master's degree here. And from my experience with the alumni in Clemson, they are always so incredibly supportive. I always feel like the alumni have our back.
Clemson for me is a special place. I grew up in a small town in South Carolina. It was my first real venture away from home. My name is Charles Sullivan. I'm a class of '66, and I'm involved in a leadership role in the Will to Lead campaign. Clemson opened my eyes to what was going on in the rest of the world. I formed lasting relationships that are still very important to me today. I contribute to Clemson because Clemson did make a difference in my life. It's about truly saying, how can I help make a difference in whatever small way I'm capable of doing to sustain what Thomas Green Clemson thought about over a century ago.
We row about every morning from 6:30 to 8:30. I just love the spirit with the girls, just having fun, getting on the water. The best thing about rowing would have to be racing. Just the adrenaline through your muscles and going against other Division I universities. It's definitely a dream of mine. Growing up, I was not the athletic type. I was a little chunker, and I failed at every sport I tried. Athletics came very easily to my older brother, Sam. Sam was a sophomore in high school when he was first diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer. He was then diagnosed with lung cancer. He told us, I'm gonna fight to the last breath, even if it kills me. Sam walked him in the hospital that day, knowing that his survival rate was low. We look down the hall and we see his surgeon walking through the door with his head bowed down and his hands at his side. That moment I will remember for the rest of my life, as if it was yesterday. That was when my family's life was shattered. It was a very, very hard time for me. He absolutely loved it here, which is why it's so sad that he isn't able to join me right now. I was supposed to be coming here with Sam, and I had to drive up to Clemson all by myself. I was in a rough state. I have never, ever had strangers treat me like strangers in Clemson did. They knew my name before I even told them. They knew everything about me, and they knew where I was from. Right after my brother died, I knew for a fact that I wanted to help other kids like my brother who were struggling. When I'm rowing, I think of Sam all the time. He showed me what it's like to really fight, and also what I really want to do for the rest of my life. I can't stop thinking about fighting to the last breath. You never want to stop fighting, whether it's from the last stroke or the last breath of your life. With 500 meters left of the race, we kind of knew that we had it in us, that this was becoming real, that we were going to win the ACC championship. It was an absolute dream come true, and I'm never going to forget it.
Tiger Band on Saturdays is the greatest experience I've ever had. When we start running into Death Valley,
5, 6, 7, 8!
you can hear, you can feel the crowd, you can feel the stadium shake, you can feel everybody's excitement. It pours onto the field. 80,000 plus people in the stadium. We play Tiger Rag and everybody goes crazy. It's a great experience. It's electrifying.
The hill is amazing. I mean, you get that nowhere else. Because when you're up there, the stadium's going crazy, the music's blaring, and all the guys are up there rocking side to side, and it's just a one-of-a-kind feeling.
When you touch it and you're down that hill, I mean, you really do feel chill bumps. You feel like a little extra burst of energy. Dad played football, Mom played volleyball. I grew up always wanting to run down the hill. My grandfather played a year under Frank Howard before he went into the military. My father was on the Canadian National Championship team. I feel like Clemson's home. You know, I grew up always wanting to go to Clemson. Go up to the stadium and you look out and there's just 10 deep on each side, and all they want to do is see us. I don't think you can compare Clemson fans to any other fans in the nation. I think I had more butterflies walking across the stage in graduation than I've had, you know, any football game. It was unreal to finally get there, and it all worked out. It all paid off. And to realize that I'm a Clemson graduate, and I'll have that for the rest of my life.
Clemson is the greatest decision that I've ever made in my entire life. It gives you a whole network around the world that you're always connected to, always rooted in throughout the rest of my life. It's Clemson, 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 Clemson. When I finally made the team, after 2 years of trying, you know, I didn't know what to say. I was, you know, a cat had my tongue.
Tell me ways that you can get from 4 to 1.
I like working with kids because they're fun. They're little people, they don't know what's going on yet. They're trying to find themselves. And I love it because I can help them find themselves. Some of the kids I work with now have behavior issues. I see my own story because I know for a fact I've had a bad attitude. Once I got into a scuffle with a guy for calling me the N-word. That was a terrible day for me. I was stuck down at the juvenile detention center. Luckily enough, I had a gentleman there. He comes up to me and says, "Hey, you don't belong here." I've had those people guiding me this entire way, and I think they were put there for a reason to bring me to this point. Kids have, you know, told me I've changed their life. So that, I mean, when you get a kid to tell you that, it's like.
For God so loved the world, He gave His only Son. Gave His life for you, yeah, you're the one.
I came to Clemson because of the audio technology major. I just really like the atmosphere here. I get a hands-on experience with everything. I've been able to work with vocalists, bands, work in the theater, behind the boards, doing sound for different ensembles, orchestras. When I was almost 2, my biological mother passed away. She had an accident. So my grandparents adopted me, which made them my parents and my uncles, my brothers. Music has been with me since the beginning. I started playing the trumpet around 5th grade. Music has been a release, it has been a friend. You know, everybody's really passionate about what they do. So whether I'm talking to a chemical engineer or another audio technology guy or just faculty, you know, everybody really loves what they do here.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early?
I think a lot about what makes Clemson different than other schools. And I think one of those qualities is our patriotism. And that springs from our history in the first 75 years of our existence as a military school.
Bright stars through the
I think we inherit our determined spirit from Thomas Green Clemson, and it is now in the air, in the soil, in the lives of Clemson people. And every student who comes here gets a little piece of that.
I feel like Clemson will always be a part of me.
My town, Earhart, South Carolina. Population, about 600.
It's a very impoverished town. There are only 15% of the people there who have a college diploma, and so education is not a huge factor there. I guess I just had the determination that I wanted to do bigger things.
Never decided she wanted to be a nurse, she wanted to be a doctor all the time. She wanted to go to the top.
And my parents kind of encouraged me in that. They supported my dreams. It was something they couldn't have imagined since they didn't even go to college. No one in my family went to college. My mom is a paramedic and a firefighter, and my dad worked on automobiles like paint and repair. He passed away during my freshman year here at Clemson from a heart attack. I had a really close relationship with my dad. He was like my best friend, so it's kind of tough. My parents never really said anything about the financial burdens of college, but I guess I just always knew it was there because growing up, it was always difficult for us to do certain things that most of my friends were doing. My life would not have been the same had I not had the scholarships to come here to Clemson. I would not have had the research opportunities I've had. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with cancer patients and to work with heart failure patients.
It took all the financial burden away from me. And as a single parent, that means a lot.
The opportunities that I've had here would just have been impossible without it. I had never been outside of the country before I came to Clemson, and I've been on mission trips to the Bahamas. I've been in France, England, Scotland, Belize, and I've just gotten more experiences than I can ever have imagined. I mean, it's really tough to know that my dad won't be here to watch me graduate, and I know that will be here in spirit tomorrow.
He would have just been so excited and so proud that, you know, his little girl was doing this, like fulfilling the dream that I've always had.
What do you want Clemson students to be when they leave this place?
We want them to discover the greatness they have within themselves. We want them, through the work with our faculty and staff, to find that greatness, to help them nurture it, to feel confident about that greatness they have inside them. And as they leave Clemson, we want them to go out and change the world. And that's what they're doing. And it's wonderful to be a part of a university that's making that happen.
You can feel that there's a Clemson spirit, there's a Tiger spirit here. And it's infectious.
I just feel like the people there, really care about you. You go some places and, you're just another face, you're just another person.
Of course, orange runs in my veins, completely.
4 years worth of really great memories.
To be at Clemson University, this is like a lifetime bond that we're building with this university. It doesn't just end when you graduate. The bond is forever.